I live in a kingdom of girls, and my son will be well prepared for whatever comes his way. But it really doesn't have to be that way for you to be able to have a comfortable relationship with your daughter or daughters when it comes to talking about your period. My husband has been wonderful from day one of us getting married. So if you stick around, I will let you know the one thing I think surrounding this issue I have in common with my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law is a very classy sort of person. She's not crude or crass, but I do think she's got a very comfortable relationship with her body and is very comfortable with how she talks about it. And somehow she managed to pass that on to my husband. When we were first married, I suffered from severe menstrual cramps, dizziness, vomiting, lightheadedness, being doubled over in pain. And it was a situation that I couldn't discreetly hide from my husband in any way. And often I needed his support in helping me through that. And my husband has always been comfortable to go to the store and get whatever I need. He wasn't embarrassed at all. And I was extremely surprised by that. So once we started having daughters, it was a goal of mine to work on being more comfortable with my body, talking about my body, and creating a situation with my daughters where they're comfortable with me coming close to them and seeing them, so that if ever there's an issue, we can always talk about it. Now, personally, what I've learned is that I can't give my daughters what I don't have. And so when it comes to periods, the whole process can be uncomfortable. It can be a little gross if you really think about the mechanics of what is going on. And I'm conscious of the fact that this is what I think of it myself. And because I've always been so sick, it's not something that I look forward to every month. But at the same time, I wanted to pass on a healthy expectation to my daughters, partly because that might not be their situation, so I don't want them dreading it, and also because even with all the uncomfortable things that come with having a period, it really is a situation where your body is doing what it's supposed to be doing, and in the absence of it, you have so many problems. So even if God never does bless you to have a child, having a healthy cycle is a sign that everything is going well and your hormones are functioning the way they need to function. And if you do get blessed with a child, this is the process that helps make all of that possible. And so I want to pass on these healthy thoughts and these healthy ideas onto my daughters. And the first step for that is openness, having a good attitude and thought process about it myself, and communicating these things. Sometimes we fall into the trap of dumping too much information on our daughters too soon. Since the cramping has happened for me and the heavy bleeding has happened, which sometimes has required me to be in bed, all my daughters from the time they were born has known that once a month, at a certain time of the month, regularly, something is going on with mom that hasn't been going on all along. And depending on how old they are, I've been open about what's going on. They all know the phrase, "it's that time of the month." And for the older ones, I've explained that, my body was preparing for a baby, but a baby didn't happen this month. So, it's spring cleaning going on in my body, basically. The very little one seems satisfied with the "it's that time of the month." But, they talk to each other too. So, I've had a middle-ish daughter find out about the fact that there's blood involved, and it was really scary for her that there's blood involved, because as far as she knows, there's a cut or a wound or something bad going on when blood comes out of her body. And so I took the time to sit and explain to her that the body uses blood a number of ways. It carries nutrients all over the body, and blood can also be used kind of like how saliva is used in your mouth to flush things out, and tears come out of your eyes to flush things out of your eyes, and you urinate to remove the liquid waste product from your body. The body can also use blood to flush out certain areas of your body. And I explained to her that there's a place in your body called your womb that your body prepares every month for that baby. And at the end of that month, if there's no baby, the body flushes everything out. It flushes the lining that it prepared for your wound and everything that doesn't need to be in there. It flushes it out because every month your body wants a fresh, brand new situation prepared for a baby that could be in there. And so when I put it to her like that, suddenly it's not as uncomfortable. Now, unfortunately, since I suffer from the menstrual cramps, they did understand that it can be painful for some people. But I told my daughters that I have a lot of friends who don't have that. I have friends who had that and then they had their first baby and they never had it again. Now, these days, I don't have severe cramps anymore, but for me, it was like a more gradual process of having less and less and less cramps. I mean, I still had cramps after my first baby, but I tell my daughters that I pray for them all the time. And just because mommy has this scenario, you don't have to have this scenario. But I'm in it and I'm living and I'm happy, and there are ways to cope with it and there are things you can do. And so no matter what happens to you, you're going to be okay. I feel that even though the sons are not getting a period, they will be dealing with their sisters who have periods. And if they get married one day, they need to be a support to their wives. So I'm conscious of the fact that I need to be open and honest with my son as well. And since he's a boy, the process with him is going to be different. I'm not coming into his room when his body is exposed, and he's not coming into my room either. We don't need to be that honest and open with each other. However, when the conversations are taking place, I'm not squirreling the girls away somewhere where he doesn't hear what's going on. He hears what's going on as well. And boys are different. Some boys will come and want to talk to you in detail about it, and you need to be available and willing to do that. And other boys will get what they need and do some research on their own, or talk to their dad, or figure some of it out on their own. But what the important thing is for you to be aware of what's going on with your boy and to be ready to offer whatever support it is that he needs to understand and be comfortable with the process as well. My biggest tip to anyone out there is to really think about what your personal relationship is with your period, and ask yourself if this is the kind of relationship you want to pass on with your daughters. And if it's not, then you may want to take some steps to present something different or work through your process so that you yourself are a little bit different, so that you have something good to share with your daughters.